So I just came from watching Netflix's new show called Chaos. Chaos with a K. I noticed that in this show there's a lot of switching around words that should start with C and then putting K there. Chaos is a British mythological black comedy. It revolves around three humans as they discover their connection to each other and to a long standing ancient prophecy while they deal with corrupt and arrogant gods of Greek and Roman mythology. The show was released on August 29th, 2024. And first of all, I just have to mention that I began watching this without a trailer. I never saw the trailer. I didn't know anything about it. I just saw it was trending on Netflix and I just said, okay, let me check it out because it had Jeff Goldblum on the cover. The first thing is the concept of this show is pretty wild. I'm not going to have any spoilers or I'm not going to discuss any major spoilers. I'm going to keep it mostly vague for those of you who might want to watch. The show stars Jeff Goldblum as Zeus. There's some simp in the show who looks like less handsome Brad Pitt. And then Jeff Goldblum's son in the show is played by a guy who looks like younger Adam Lambert. And then they also have the guy who played Stannis Baratheon in Game of Thrones. They have him in this show playing Prometheus, which took me a while to notice because in Game of Thrones Stannis does not smile, and in this show the guy who plays Stannis Baratheon, he plays Prometheus, and here he smiles a lot. So you can imagine the disconnect in my mind when I saw him here, and I was like, why does this guy look so familiar? Then I realized, oh, it's Stannis, but he's smiling more now. This show is kind of like The Boys. If you're a big fan of The Boys, I think you'll like this one a lot because Zeus is kind of Homelander-ish. His wife is kind of, like that Amazon chick from The Boys. Zeus's son is kind of like the Deep, sort of. It's not a one-to-one. I'm just using an analogy to try and help you understand that if you like The Boys, there's a high chance that you're going to like this show as well. Zeus is the kind of guy to torture his friend and then like seek advice from him. That's kind of Homelander-ish type behavior. A lot of the performances are very solid, especially Jeff Goldblum. As I said, I didn't watch this with a trailer or anything, so when he's introduced to me as Zeus, I was like, how can Jeff Goldblum be Zeus? But later on, he really sells it to you. He doesn't even take many episodes to sell it to you. He sells it to you like in the first episode. There's very good world building in this show. If you're a fan of Greek mythology, if you've watched things like, have you watched the movie Troy, for example? If you've watched Troy, a lot of the stuff that you hear in Troy, you'll also, you can carry some of that knowledge from that movie here. For example, I like the fact that in Greek mythology, they talk about the river Styx. You'll see it here. The river Styx, Styx. The visuals, some of them are very good, some of them are meh. There's this one scene where Zeus is like, the people want me to give them rain and feed their crops, so he begins like making it rain, and the visuals just look very green screenish. The clouds look green screenish and the background look green screenish, but other than that, some visuals are very good, some are iffy. Prometheus, as soon as the show starts, he does a lot of narration and fourth wall breaking, which is well utilized. Some shows try to use it and it just backfires, like She-Hulk. She-Hulk tries to do narration and fourth wall breaking, but it's not very good. Here it's good. Here it's used to explain certain things that would have taken the viewer a bit of time to understand, and also would have it removes ambiguity. You're able to know who is playing who is related to who quickly because Prometheus explains it through a fourth wall break. You'll hear about characters like Medusa, Persephone, characters that you had in Greek mythology. I like the fact that they are referenced here. And for example, the character playing Medusa, the way she's portrayed here, I found it to be pretty cool. This show reminds me of another TV show called American Gods. So if you watched American Gods, you'll probably like this one as well. Some other issues that I had with the show is some odd diversity casting. So as you know, Netflix is the one that tried to tell you that I don't care what you were told in school, Cleopatra was black, right? So in this show, they do the same thing. You can see a lot of DEI stuff. DEI, for those of you who don't know, is diversity, equity, and inclusion. So for example, you'll see Hippolyta. Hippolyta is a Amazonian woman. Hippolyta is black. How is she black? She's black, and yet other Amazonians are white. So I'm like, how? There's also, you'll see the Furies in the show. You'll see a trio of three called the Furies, and they are also diverse. Like one of them is white, one is mixed race or something. I found it very odd. And then also there's Daedalus. Daedalus is someone from Greek mythology. In this show, he's disabled. He has like disabled arms. Daedalus is a craftsman and like an architect in Greek mythology. So I don't know. It's like in like Netflix for their DEI score, they were like, well, just make the architect guy disabled to like try and tell disabled people, hey, Daedalus was also disabled, so you can do it. I get that Netflix is trying to do their whole DEI diversity casting, but it kind of feels very shoehorned in there. I should mention though that there is a lot of like a faithfulness to Greek mythology. I'm not going to like break down all of it because I want you, if you haven't watched the show, you should go see it for yourself. But a good example is Prometheus. So Prometheus is played by the guy who played Stannis Baratheon in Game of Thrones, and the way they portray him here in the show, and you go and read about Prometheus in Greek mythology, there's a lot of like faithfulness to the source material. The show has some writing issues, I won't deny. Some stuff you see happening on your screen and you're like, why is this happening? And why is that? If this can happen, why can't this happen? A good example is there's this one scene where you see Zeus's son. He's like walking around and then he keeps getting a call from Poseidon. So he's just walking down the street and then he hears like a phone booth ringing. And my question is, if Poseidon can know where you are, how does Zeus not know where his wife is? Because there were scenes where Zeus was like looking for his wife and he can't find his wife. So how is Zeus not able to know where his wife is, but Poseidon can know where Zeus's son is? Another writing issue is there's this one character who asks Medusa, "Hey, are you the real Medusa?" And Medusa like pulls out her snake hairs, and then this other character asks, "Hey, why didn't I turn into stone?" And Medusa says, "Cause you're dead." But it's funny. They're in the underworld. They're saying this. You're dead. You're in the underworld. You're dead. That's why you can't turn into stone. But in the same underworld, people like have to wear like life jackets because they might drown. So yeah. So this is like, I don't know. Maybe I'm the one who didn't get it. If you watch the show, maybe you can correct me. But I found that to be a couple of writing problems here and there. Other than that, there's this one scene where Zeus's wife gaslights him. I don't want to give you any spoilers, but he gaslights him so hard, and I was like, come on, like Zeus, king of Greek gods, would not be fooled so easily. Other than that, the show has really good music. There are scenes where they put some really good soundtracks, kind of like a Guardians of the Galaxy type feel. In general, I give the show a 7 out of 10. I wanted to give it an 8, but that scene where Zeus's wife gaslights him irritated me so much. I was like, how can king of the gods be fooled so easily by his wife? Those are my thoughts about Chaos, Kaos. Jeff Goldblum really nails this role. I didn't expect him to play a good Zeus. Zeus sounds like someone big, like it should be played by like The Rock or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of Hercules. I don't know. He played it well. If you've watched this show, give me your thoughts about it. I binged all 8 episodes, so it is a bingeable show, pretty good. And then I'll leave other reviews for other Netflix movies or shows on screen. I'll see you in the next one.